Okay, so now that we've actually been through the signs, I want to go through one problem kind of all together, another one, I guess, and that has some mixed signs. Okay, so number 3 here, I'm going to do red line for the first one. Okay, so my first y-intercept is 1, so it's going to cross the y-axis at a positive 1, and then it has a slope of negative 1/3. That means I go down 1 over 3 to the right, down 1 over 3 to the right, or I could go up 1 and left 3. I'm going to do that both directions. And then again, I'm going to look at the sign. So if I look at this sign right here is less than or equal to, that means I have a solid line going through all of those points. Okay, so it's a solid line. And then it's less than or equal to, which means I'm going to shade everything below this line. Okay, so in terms of that inequality, anything on the line is a solution, or anything below the line is also a solution. Okay, let's do the next one. So my next equation or inequality here, it starts at -3 on my y-axis, and then it has a slope of 2. So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. You could also, from the beginning, go down 2 into the left 1. So you have lots of points. And then this time, my sign is just greater than. There's no line under my sign, so if it's just greater than, it's going to be a dashed line. So when you connect your dots, it's like this dashed line. And then it's greater than, so we're going to shade everything above the line, okay? So then this time you can kind of see we have this overlapping area where it's shaded red and blue. That's actually your solution. So anything in between, or I guess inside this overlapping area, that black shaded area is your actual solution, okay? All right. Okay, so then the next one. This was, again, all of these are multiple choice, but this one says, what is the system of inequalities that matches the graph? So essentially what I would like to do for this one is we're going to focus on one at a time. I'm going to focus on this equation, and then we'll do this equation, okay? So I want to find an inequality that represents that horizontal line, that dashed line that goes to the left and to the right, okay? So for the first one, if it goes to the left and right, that's one of our special equations. So I always think, like, which axis does it go through? It goes through the y-axis right here. So it's going to be y is equal to, and then where does it go through that axis? Just at 1. Now the problem is we know it's not y is equal to 1. It's either less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So if you look, everything is shaded, like the overlapping area is shaded below that line. So it's going to be y is less than 1. And then you kind of have to ask yourself, is it just less than or less than or equal to? And I'm going to say it's just less than because the line is dashed, okay? So I'm going to make myself like a little note here. It's a dashed line, which means it's just less than. So that's my first inequality. Now my second one, I'm kind of thinking it's a diagonal line, so I'm going to put it in y equals mx plus b form. So y equals mx plus b, it starts at the y-intercept right here of 1. So b is equal to 1. And then it has a slope of, if you look at all the rest of these points, it's just going like, well, they're not perfect, but it's supposed to be going up 1 over 1 or down 1, left 1, okay? So the slope is 1 and the y-intercept is 1, so this is just 1x plus 1, okay? Now again, we need to figure out what the sign is. So on that line, if you look at this diagonal line right here, the shading, so right here, this shaded part is shaded above my line. So based on that, I know it's going to be y is greater than x plus 1. And then because it's a solid line, I'm going to make it greater than or equal to. Okay? So we found our equations, we translated them or changed them into inequality form, and then we just made sure if it was dashed or solid, it determines if it's just regular, less than or greater than, or does it have an equal to under it. Okay? All right, last one here. It says, Joe will plant up to 32 acres on his farm with wheat and corn. He, I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. not were than 11 acres. Oh, no more than is what that was supposed to say. So let me change that real quick. So no more than 11 acres will be planted with wheat, okay? Let W represent the number of acres of wheat and C represent the number of acres of corn. Identify two inequalities that represents a situation. Okay, so the first inequality is kind of the first sentence here. So the first sentence says, Joe will plant up to 32 acres on his farm with wheat and corn. So the amount of wheat plus the amount of corn that he plants is up to 32 acres. So that would be less than or equal to 32 acres, okay? So you can plant 32 acres. Actually, it just says up to 32 acres. It doesn't say exactly 32 acres. So I'm gonna actually erase that equal to. So up to 32 acres, but no more than 32 acres, okay? And then it says no more than 11 acres will be planted with wheat. So the amount of wheat, W, is no more than, that's less than or equal to, 11 acres. So no more than means exactly 11 or possibly less than 11, but definitely not more than 11, okay? Those are your two inequalities that represent the situation. So the total amount here is up to 32 acres, and then the amount of wheat is no more than 11. There you go.